What's up techies, I'm back with another video. In this video I'm going to teach you how to set up hMail server on a Windows VPS. hMail server is a free email server for Windows, so you can use it to create your own bulk emailing system or just normal emails if you don't want to use the premium email services that are there and you want your own email server. It's a bit complicated to set up, but this tutorial will take you step by step, beginning from buying a domain up to setting up and testing if your emails are going and they are being received. So I have already bought a domain here in GoDaddy. I just bought this domain which matches my YouTube channel name, so tunantechtips.com. If you don't know how to buy a domain, just go to any domain seller like GoDaddy or whoever you want to go with, search if your domain is available, then buy. It's straightforward. I prefer using GoDaddy or AWS, but for today I bought in GoDaddy this domain a few minutes ago. So once you have your domain, you need to do three important DNS settings. Number one, you need to point your domain to your VPS server. That's very important. Number two, you need to create a subdomain called mail.yourdomain and point that as well to your server. And number three, you need to make an MX record that points to mail.yourdomain.com. That's complicated, but I'll show you in a bit. So number one, you need to point your VPS. You need to point your domain to your VPS. Number two, you need to create a subdomain which is mail.yourdomain.com and point to your VPS again. Finally, you need to create an MX record, which is a mail record that has the value of mail.yourSubdomain.com. Once you have these settings, then we can go to our VPS and start setting up hMail. The reason why I want to start with this is sometimes DNS takes a bit of time to propagate. DNS can take up to 24 hours, but mostly it takes like 5 minutes. So I will create these DNS records so that we leave it propagating, and by the time you are ready to use it, it will have finished. So from my domain here, you can say I want to go to the DNS setup. So I'll just go to my products here. And then this is what I just bought. So I'll go to DNS management. So this is packed, meaning it doesn't point to anything specific. So I will edit this and it will point to my VPS. I have a test VPS here, so I don't mind if you can see the IP address because it's a test server anyway. So 195.201. There you go. So it will point to my VPS. Save that. So that means we have done point number one. Then number two, we need to create a subdomain that points to a VPS. So again, let's go and do that. So you come here and add. It's an A record. So it's mail, and then it will point to our server again, like that. So you save that, and finally the third record you need is an MX record, which is a mail record, and it's an @ and it points to mail dot tunan techtips.com. You can give it a priority of 1. mail.tunantechtips.com. You have to make sure that everything is accurate. And now you have all the 3 records we need. I will show you later how you can test if the DNS has finished propagating. You can ping see this, if you ping, it's responding from my server. It means that record has already propagated. Then you can ping the mail one as well to see if it points here. Just read through it longer. The reason why it's timing out is there's no domain that has been set up on the VPS that looks like this, so it will always time out there. But then you can also ping mail.tunantechtips.com, and it's also pointing there, so it means your DNS settings have already reflected. So we can now go and start setting up the hmail on the server. So now I have already logged into my server with this IP, which is what I have as a test server. What we need to do now is go and download hmail. So just go and click hmail download and download the most latest version of hmail, which is this one here. Perfect. When it finishes, just open and double click to install. So next, accept the terms. Next, leave this as default. This is the choice for where you want the database for storing all the emails to be. If you have knowledge of creating an external database, you can install your own MySQL instance on your server and then point it there. But the easiest way is to use the inbuilt one. Then click next, the default. This is the hmail admin password. So set a password that you will use for your hmail here. And install it. When you're done, launch it. See, this is the localhost. If you connect it, just input the password that we just set a few minutes ago there. Okay, and you're in. Once you log in, you will have such a page. Here you can put the domain that you bought to start with. So put tunantechtips.com, tunantechtips.com, make sure it's correct and save that. And you can add an account here that we need, which we will use. Remember, it won't be usable at the moment until we finish all the settings, but maybe I will use support at tunantech.com. The password for that account, put it here. Right, just make sure you get the spelling right. It's the password, it's enabled. Click save. So now we have the email that we will want and we have the domain. So now we need to go to the more important settings. So first of all, we need to go to SMTP settings. So we will go to settings. Sorry about that, internet connection. So we go to settings and then we'll go to advanced, and then just bear with me a moment. I'm just checking to see if everything is okay. So we'll go to settings, then we go to protocols, then under protocols we'll SMTP. Under SMTP you need to look at the delivery of email. This is where you set the, it's kind of like the mail server domain. So here you will put mail dot so this will be your domain, mail.yourdomain.com. Remember we created a subdomain with this, so this is where you will need to put it. For connection security, right now, because we don't have an SSL certificate that I have on for this domain, I'm going to set it to none. But if you have an SSL certificate that you have for this domain installed on this server, you can choose this to SSL TLS, and that will be much more secure as compared to my method. But for now, we leave it as none. So after you put that, then click save. Then we need to go to the next setting. Now you need to check out RFC compliance, which is this one here. To make it easier, just checkbox everything and leave it at that and click save. Then what we need to go next to is to TCP/IP ports. This is just because I need to explain something here. In TCP/IP ports, this tells you the ports for each protocol. SMTP port 25, POP 3, 110, IMAP 143, SMTP 543, 587. This is secure. This, the difference between this one and this one is because this is encrypted and requires security and this doesn't. So in the previous step where we said you can use your SSL, if you made an SSL selection there, then in each of these points you will need to specify an SSL at least. But for now, leave that as that. Then what we need to do next is just bear with me a second. You see what we have in IP ranges. This is fine for now. We will come back to this section a little bit later. So now we need to go to advanced. Come on, advanced TCP/IP ports. This is what I was telling you here. You need to set your security here if you chose an SSL certificate, but if you didn't, just make sure they are, just double check to make sure they are all set to none, because if they are set to have security, then you'll have trouble connecting them. So if they are okay, then leave them at that. Then we need to make the final settings in internet. So you need to go to advanced again here, then you'll go to advanced IP ranges internet. Where is IP ranges? Here we are. Then it has my computer, which represents the local machine, which is the VPS, and then you have the internet, which represents the World Wide Web. So here you need to do a few settings. This represents all the ranges for the private IP, but these ones probably I'll just checkbox these ones and maybe not those ones. Just follow along, don't worry. So this is just like some bit of rules. Allow deliveries from local to local email, local to external, external to local, and all this kind of stuff. So it's just a settings that I have used before and I have found it works, so I just follow it. So just follow it for now and click save on that, and that's perfect. You can do the same for internet. This now means this IP range allows every public IP out there, so 002.252, which is the max IP and minimum IP. So with that, I think we are good to go to test it. So how do we test this? Right, we test this by, let me just first of all confirm that we have all the settings done. My computer, that's fine, that's fine. These ones, we left them, yeah. tunantechtips.com, it's set there to go. Perfect. Actually, sometimes in utility you can run the diagnostics here to see if everything is correct. So if you see everything green like that, oh, we have a red thing here, but don't worry so much about it. The most important things outbound, they are all green, but a red thing bugs me, but it won't bother so much. So let's go to the important bit. Let's try to use the email that we just set up. So I'll go back here and I will use Thunderbird. I don't know if I have it. Yep, Mozilla Thunderbird. And so I will use this. You can use on any mail client, but I will use this one. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention something important. If you go to advanced TCP/IP ports, all these ports, you need to make sure they are open in your server. And how you can check if they are open is you can use canyousseeme.org, which tests open ports, and like IMAP is 143, check if it's open on your server. You see success here, means it's open. So, but probably they will not be open on your server. So how do you open ports? You open ports on the firewall with advanced security, and then you just come to inbound rules, and then you create a new rule. You select port, click next, you put the port number like 587, which I have already put. So for this one I'll put another different port. We'll put all the 4 ports here one by one, and actually you don't have to put one by one, you can put them and separate them by a comma. So like you can put 80, comma, the next port you need, comma, the next port you need. Put all the 4 ports there, and then when you put all the ports there, all of them there, allow the connection, domain, next. Here call them email ports or any descriptive name, and then finish. When you click finish, I won't do that because mine are already open. When you click finish, come back to the same site and recheck the ports again. If before that you are seeing an error here, now you will see success and you'll know that your ports have been open. Right, so now let's go back and try our email. So we are going to come here and we are going to add an email. And how do we do that? Just bear with me a second. Right, so we want to add an email, so I will call it tunan support, and it's support@tunantechtips.com, and the password that I set for it. Just counter check to make sure everything is spelled right. Okay, then continue. Right, so it has detected, but it's warning me there's no encryption. Remember we said none, we didn't put SSL, but if you want not to see such errors, you need to install an SSL certificate. I will make a video later to show you how to install with SSL, and then click done. I understand the risks, done. And so I have my inbox here. So now what's left? We need to check if our email is working, right? So we need to write an email. So I will write to maybe Kelvin at madeinator.com. Madeinator.com gives you public addresses, which I said test hmail setup test. So this will test outgoing. So if you send, it looks like it have sent. So I will go to Madeinator here and check Kelvin, which is the mailbox, and here you can see wait, it hasn't been delivered, sorry. Let's check. Is it in sent? It's in sent. Oh, it's Kelvin at Madeinator, not Kevin. So type the correct one here. Let's go back. Kelvin at Madeinator. Here you go. TuneIn support. We received an email from TuneIn support. We also need to test if you can receive an email into our inbox. So we have proved that you can send an email. So how about receive an email? So I'm going to one of my emails and I will test. I'll send an email to support at tuneintechtips.com, and then subject is test incoming because we have already tested outgoing. Hooray! Then I will send that. Was it sent? Yeah, has been sent. What has it been received? Let's get our messages here. Oh, perfect. So our incoming email with the message hooray. So that means we have shown you how you can buy a domain, how you can set the DNS setting, how you can configure hMailServer, and up to testing that your emails work. So the domain we created, we have received an inbox and we have sent an email, and I've shown you how to receive it. So that is all for now in this tutorial, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it and I hope you have learned something. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments and I'll try and answer them. So thank you for watching and